Well, for years, the Finger Lakes Land Trust has worked to protect the region's landscape, and they've now added 2 more scenic properties to the list.
WENY's Kara Demers paid a visit to a horse farm this afternoon that will now be conserved under their watch.
Sheffield Farm is just one of 2 pieces of land that the Finger Lakes Land Trust will now preserve. That's an additional 470 acres of land to add to their portfolio of over 20,000.
Sitting on almost 500 acres of scenery, Sheffield Farm lies only a mile from downtown Ithaca. Back when it was first purchased, it only made up about 70 acres. Since then, the Sawinski family has worked to acquire even more. So much that through the Finger Lakes Land Trust, they'll now be sure it remains as is.
And in many cases, we find families that are passionate about conserving their land, and the challenge is how, with limited resources, secure the areas that are most important.
This process is called conservation easement. Through a legal agreement, owners work with the land trust to limit what can be done on what is typically farm or forestry land.
Here in Ithaca, for example, it will now go to another farmer rather than what would typically happen is it would be sold for development.
Just a few months ago, the land trust also acquired a piece on the west side of Cayuga Lake.
And we today own and manage a network of more than 30 public conservation areas that are open, have trails, and essentially are parks that people can enjoy.
And as their portfolio continues to grow, the nonprofit also looks to residents of the Finger Lakes to be aware and take initiative in their efforts.
We have a lot of work in front of us about educating landowners and their advisors and local communities. It's also important that others get involved because the land trust alone simply can't do all the work that needs to be done.
Reporting in Ithaca, Kara Demers, WENY News.